Hey, it's Kevin DeWitt and welcome back to a recording in a home music studio course. In this video, we're going to talk about recording location. So recording location, this may seem like an extremely obvious thing, and depending on your home music studio, there may be nothing to even think about here. You may have a little section in a bedroom or wherever it is, and you really don't have any options with what you're going to record. Now, recording location, it's really something to think about depending on the instrumentation that you are actually recording. Now, there's a few factors that you obviously want to get right because it's going to allow you to get the best recordings. So the main items to think about are comfort, the size of your room, the instruments you're going to be recording with, any acoustic treatment that you have, and what is actually convenient for the recording process. So let's sort of break down those a little bit. Comfort, obviously to me that's a no-brainer, okay? You're playing an instrument. If you're not comfortable, you're not going to get the best results out of your instrument. You're not going to play the best because you're uncomfortable the whole time. So you want to make sure that you can be as comfortable as possible while you're doing that recording. And if that means that you need to stand up to play the guitar, or you need to sit down, or if you are playing some other instrument that you need to stand in the middle of a room or sit in a chair that's isolated, that is like a hard chair or a drum chair or something like that, you obviously need to factor that in because you want to be comfortable. There's no point sitting in an uncomfortable position that puts you into pain and you can't move your arms properly and you can't play properly just because it's convenient and it's near the desk or something like that. Now, things like acoustic treatment can also come into play depending on your instrumentation. So if you are somebody that is plugging directly into your computer and playing, say, electric guitar, electric bass, or you're doing virtual instruments, then that's not really something that you need to worry about because it's, the room does not come into play. But if you are playing an acoustic instrument or you're playing drums or something like that, then acoustic treatment is going to be a big factor to get the right sound for that instrument in your room. Now, that may be two different directions. You may look to need to have acoustic treatment on the walls, floors, roof, whatever, to get rid of the reverb if you have a bad sounding room and you just want it to sound really dry and dead. Especially things like vocals, it's quite common for people to set up like little booths or something like that for vocals because the reverb that comes into your room may not be a good one, and it can be better sometimes to create a dead sound and then add reverb later during the mixing process. Now, alternatively, something like drums or something in that realm, you may not like that dead sound and you might like the sound of the reverb in your room. So you may want to have a section of a room that you put your drums in that does not have acoustic treatment, and it is very, what they refer to as live. It has a lot of echo, a lot of reverb, and it gives you that really great sound that you're trying to get out of your drums. Now, convenience is obviously convenience in the recording process. You're going to have to be operating the software if you're by yourself and you are, you're doing the recording and you are the person playing the instrument or the vocals or whatever else. So you need the ability to be able to start and stop the recordings and do it comfortably and conveniently. So, if you're playing guitar, that may be easy because you might be sitting or standing right in front of your desk and you can stop and start. If you're playing drums, they may be set up in a totally different part of the room or even in another room. So you either need to be starting the recording, then running off to go and start playing your drums, or you're going to need some sort of setup with an iPad or something with some remote control software so that you can operate your recording software remotely from another location. And, that's about convenience. You don't want to set yourself up away from the desk if you can be near the desk. Now, obviously, that again depends on your instrumentation, but it's definitely something you need to factor in and a good idea to have planned out before you start recording. Now, if you're somebody that records multiple instruments or you are recording a band or anything like that, then you may have different locations for each instrument. You may have people or yourself sit at the desk with a guitar. You may have drums in another part, you may have an acoustic instrument in another part, you may have vocals in another part again. So it's a good idea to plan all that out, and what I'd like you to do is, and again, depending on what you are getting out of this or what you plan to record, this may be a very easy and even almost seems silly idea to do, or it may be that it's a good idea if you do lots of instruments, etc. And what I'm talking about is in the PDF, download the PDF, there is a worksheet in there with a sort of a grid. And what I'd like you to do is draw out your home music studio and plot out where you want to put all the instruments that you're going to record. And again, as I said, if you are one instrument and it's at your desk, then it's a very simple process. So I'll leave it up to you whether you do the worksheet. I still think it's a good idea to do it so it's in your head, you know what you're planning to do, and you've got your placements around there. And it's going to dictate as well, if you do lay out your room and you decide you're going to have different instruments, different places, it's going to prompt you to think about, okay, well, what do I need to do to make that spot comfortable, and acoustic treatment and all of that to go along with it. Alright, so if you have any questions at all about the recording locations or your setup or the best placement for your instrumentation, etc., please feel free to leave it in the comments. Happy to help as much as I can and answer any of your questions as we go along. Hopefully this video has been helpful. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.